This is a first-person shooter that mixes old-school FPS gameplay with some Dark Souls-style atmosphere and design choices. It runs on the GC Doom engine, which means it has the retro shooter foundation, but actually pushes the tech way further. What makes this game interesting is how it throws you into this weird supernatural world where you're not actually the hero. You're basically a reanimated corpse in armor, working for a military organization that hunts down paranormal threats. So the setup is pretty dark. There's this thing called the Great Strange, which is basically a zone where reality gets messed up and supernatural stuff happens constantly. Essentially, the different worlds and entities bleed into each other and warp everything. The Hayvard is a special military group that was created to study this phenomenon and ultimately destroy the dangerous parts of it. They've been doing this for years and even figured out how to weaponize some of the strangest properties. And you play as Hayvard Generation 7, which is their latest model of Operative. Their story kicks off because the Strange has suddenly started expanding, way faster and more intense than before. Now, when you get into the actual game, you have a few different weapons to work with. There's a sword for close combat, guns that seem to be more effective overall, and some kind of magical device. The guns have unlimited ammo, but there are different types you can find. You also have this healing doll that travels with you. She's this living doll character that can patch you up during missions. There's also this bird-like creature that acts as a lantern in dark areas. Both of these companions can be upgraded as you progress. The game's core loop is pretty non-linear. After the opening mission, you reach the sub-area called the Metro Nexus. This is where all the merchants and NPCs hang out. There's a blacksmith who can upgrade your weapons if you bring him crystallized mana, a guy who improves your armor, and a doll maker named Rennie, who can upgrade your healing doll if you find doll eyes. The NPCs actually have their own stories and side quests. From the Nexus, you can access 5 massive dimensions in whatever order you want. Each one has its own theme and aesthetic. One of them is called Garden Grave, which is full of ancient burial sites and has this creepy abandoned feel. These are not small levels, they are fairly huge environments. The game has over 50 different enemy types, so each area introduces new creatures. Some of them are actually hostile immediately, but others will leave you alone unless you attack first. The game's level design encourages exploration because there are upgrade materials and secrets that are tucked away in the corners. The combat feels pretty standard for an FPS, but with a couple alterations. You can dodge roll, use melee attacks and switch between different weapon functions. Each weapon has multiple uses. You need to manage your resources too, especially the mana you collect from enemies, because this one powers special abilities. The game also has friendly fire, so enemies can hurt each other, which you can use tactically. Boss fights are a major part of the experience. There are 20 of them total, and they range from other Hayvard operatives hunting you down to these massive creatures from the Strange itself. As for the upgrade system, you find these strange orbs around levels that let you improve your gear. What I find interesting about the story is that it's not black and white. There's this whole question of whether the strange entities are actually evil or just misunderstood, and the game doesn't spell everything out. You also learn more about what you actually are, because the Hayvard generations are basically different models of undead soldiers, and you are Gen 7, which is newer and more advanced, but the earlier generations are still out there. When you encounter other Hayvard operatives, some of them are hostile because they're still following their original orders. So the whole game has this oppressive atmosphere, where nothing is quite right. The visuals are detailed and push the engine hard, basically creating these warped environments that feel alien. And that sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.